Welcome to the first episode of Chattin Out Loud. Confidently distracted me because, hello, Steven.
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Thank you.
Am I distracted?
Hold it.
I'll take your So thank you so much for joining my podcast. I'm excited to be here. Today is my 40th birthday. What does it feel like to be 40, Steven?
I never said on the go. Couldn't tell you. Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be launching today on my birthday, and I feel like it's just a new season of life, a renewal, and I'm just very excited. So on this podcast, let me tell everybody while we're here. So we have 4 segments. So we have Chattin' GPT, we have Chattin' It Up, we have Chattin' Connections, and Chattin' Challenges. I don't know where I got the Chattin' from. Oh, that's my last name. So I want to talk about a little bit about why I started this podcast. I have notes here, so that's because I'm always distracted and I need to focus. So I want to talk about why I started this podcast. I recently lost my brother to suicide in September, and I just felt like everything that I have learned from Stephen, that God would carry me through, and he would always make it, make my life, he would take it from, trauma to triumph. And so I just felt led to start this podcast from that. And so I am going to be introducing Stephen Price. Welcome as the first guest onto Chattin' Out Loud. But before we go into your full introduction, I want to say that there is a new movie coming out, and it's called Brave the Dark. And the link is going to be in my YouTube. If you can go onto that link and purchase tickets for that movie, you will actually be entered into a drawing where you and a teacher, and your teacher or mentor can actually win a huge vacation package. Again, it's with Angel Studio, and the movie's called Brave the Dark, and the link is in my bio. All right, so Stephen, who are you?
Okay. I am a counselor at Total Life Counseling in Rhoda, Virginia.
Okay.
And that's about it. That's
Okay.
what else you need to know.
All right. Well, Stephen, you have been my counselor for X amount of years. Actually, Chris last night, Chris, we've been to Total Life Counseling for like 18 years. And he's like, no, it hasn't been 18 years. So I don't even know like how long it's been, but I really thought it was 18 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
That's been. But I just, we've been married Chris and I have been married for 19 years. And so it felt like the first year of our marriage was when we started things.
Could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, or shortly after.
Yeah, because Chris endured his own things. And that's kind of when it started. Actually, a pastor that we went to church with, I was like, give me all the counselors. Give us all the counselors. And so they were just like, go to Total Life Counseling. And I think that's when we made the initial connection. I went through my own mental health things. And then that's when I was like, okay, I really got to take this journey seriously. And so, when people come to you, for me, for instance, I was a mess. So can you talk about what the process is when, people initially come to you, walk me through that process, share that journey, what's it like doing the initial intake, and how do you go from there as a counselor?
Well, typically, there's no typical. Everybody's different. Every individual comes in for certain things, and so you have to tailor it to the stress and the anxiety or the depression, where they're going through at the moment. Because sometimes it's marital, sometimes it's it's grieving, or it's just relationship things that aren't going well. And so once you figure out what after the intake, you figure out what the initial problems are, then we go back, okay, how do we kind of put the fires out now? And now we trace back to how they get started so we can move it in the future.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
So, like, when Chris and I first came, like, can you talk about, and you can be as open or as minimal. You won't be here all day. You can be as open or as minimal as you want. I'm okay with you speaking about things, but just kind of like explain like and assess like you meeting Chris and myself and how our journey with you has been.
Wow, and it goes way back, but typically there were some individual things for both of you from from past, childhood, growing up, those things that typically affect us and the way we behave, the way we think. So you had both those going on, then you put each individual, put those two together. Now it causes problems, the way we deal with things and the expectations for others. That's a big thing, on the expectations that we have and we put on the other person. And we feel like we're not receiving what we need to. That's when we get frustrated. And so for you all, it was like, okay, let's see where we're at, and let's see which direction we're heading and what we need to do to make this a successful, healthy relationship.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I have learned in counseling through you is I really did not know that I was an extrovert. Not that I didn't know what an extrovert was, but I did not realize that's who I was. And so I think you, not labeled, like, what do you say? You told me that I was an extrovert and Chris clearly is an introvert. So can you talk about that a little? Like, just helping me understand, like.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we can do that because sometimes we don't understand that in the context of a relationship. Okay. And the one that's always outgoing, let's go. And then whereas the introvert is like, yeah, we've done that. I'm tired. Let's not do that. And that is a source of conflict a lot of times in a marriage.
Yeah. I think, have you ever heard of Nate Bargatze?
Oh, yeah.
He said, I was listening to his jokes a couple weeks ago, and he said, you can't have two dreamers in the marriage because you go broke by the end of the day.
That is correct.
And that was like the visual, but I think you just kind of, just letting us know, like acknowledging that, like, was huge.
Because sometimes we don't know exactly where we fit, and sometimes we know kind of where we're at. Okay, we're good. I can deal with that.
Yeah, I think
we know how we need to help the other person understand, because they're different than us. Mm-hmm. Help them to understand where they're at.
Yeah. So something that Chris and I really struggled with as well is communication. I saw a little smirk there.
As most of us do. Correct. Yes. Thanks.
Yeah, because it took us like, I think, like several years. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it took us several years to learn how to communicate with one another.
Sure, and I see that with many, many couples that just get married. Okay, they think, well, because you're taking an individual from this family, another individual from that family, and that's why they process, learn things, family roles, all that, the way you operate in family. You put those two together, and they're not the same. And so sometimes it is a struggle with the misunderstandings and the misperceptions, and there's things you have to work through in communication so that you don't get offended. Those are two things I see the most. Is either somebody says something, I get offended, and now I'm gonna be mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I can't say anything because they'll get upset, and then we don't share, and then there can be no intimacy or closeness in the communication because somebody's not sharing correct.
So what's the greatest struggle in couples that you see with that? Like,
that would be it. It's like, okay, I'm going to share something with you, but you can't take it. You're easily offended. And so I go, well, I'm not going to share that with you. Well, then it's never resolved. That.
Like, do you feel accomplished when you see couples like Chris and myself, like, break those barriers and learn, like, hey, I'm so glad after so many years you're finally on the same page, you're able to communicate?
Oh, absolutely. But that goes with the growth. If I could see young folks, they get married and to come and get like you all, it's like, okay, we got married. Well, hey, guess what? Now we got a kid. Now we got another kid. Okay, now we got this job. Now we're doing it. Okay, to see the growth and to be able to communicate all through those changes in life, those seasons of life. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, well, that's good. We just, what a journey. Like, so speaking of that, do you recommend couples going into counseling when they first have a problem, or do you think that they should just hit the ground running when they first get married into counseling?
Well, it's hard to say, oh, everybody needs counseling, which is not necessarily the case. Again, if we come from a healthier families or healthier communication styles and of our self-awareness, it's like, you can work those things out on your own. But the thing is, a lot of folks wait till it's too late. If you know what I mean, it's like, okay, I'm not getting the attention I want, so I get upset. Well, the problem there is there's somebody else out there that will give you attention.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's where the problem starts. Is you wait a little bit too late, and that causes a whole nother.
Have you ever worked with clients who it did start a little bit too late, but you were able to bring them back together and see success with their growth?
I would like to think so, yes. Yes, I think so.
I mean, because like you said, like everybody's different. Like every relationship is different. It's not a one size fits all. And so, and two, just kind of like me, like, we're having to, when you connect with somebody, whether it's me with my business or, me connecting with you or me connecting with my husband, like that's all different. But the same thing applies as we're establishing a relationship. And we have to define that relationship in the beginning, moving forward. And so, I can only imagine counseling somebody. That, of course, takes time. You can't just, I think a lot of people think that, or from what I hear, if you go to the one counseling session, like that's going to fix everything. And I think people need to understand that it does take time. Can you elaborate on that?
It, again, depends on the symptoms or on the issue at hand. Yes, sometimes if it's a marital thing, because marriage is a tough thing. Anybody that's been married knows it's work. You have to work at it. And so if you get two people that are working both for the same goal, same end, it's like, okay, this ain't quite as long.
Yeah.
But sometimes one's willing, one's not. Other times it's like we're just stuck on this thing about, gosh, quick, we go send our kid to college. Okay. All right, a session or two or three, fine, we got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes it's not, oh my gosh, you're going to be counseling for years. Sometimes it takes that.
Yeah.
Other times, a lot of times it's different issues. We came for that. Okay, now we got to that issue, or now this one comes up.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Okay, well, now there's another.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from what I can remember, I think that when we first started this journey, like we were really just trying to quote unquote fix ourselves first. So Chris and I invested in ourselves, and it was a very huge investment ourselves that I am forever in debt to Stephen and Total Life in Rono. But we really invested in ourselves. And I think, how we did it was you guys encouraged us to come to counseling together and then go separately. Because, like for instance, Chris, he has things on his mind that, drive him crazy, and he just needs to vent. Because we all know venting to the wrong person could cause more, especially like if you were venting to a family member that dislikes your wife, or, that could lead to, hey, well, why don't you just leave that person? And that's really not what we're called to do.
Correct.
So, so I think, like, can you talk about, like, the benefits of seeing somebody together and, like, a couple that's having marital, just conflict or whatever, and then talk on seeing them separately? Like, what are those benefits?
Okay, that's big. Depending on the therapist you talk to, okay, yeah, you see somebody different, you're an individual, do it together, don't do it together, that's all over the map. But for me, what I see is, okay, if we have individual problems, I don't need the other person in there as you're trying to work through their issues, but it doesn't apply. Okay? The way I handle that is, if I think there's individual work to be done, I'll say, let's be with you this week, okay, a time or two, okay, to figure those things out, and then let's bring the other partner in, and go bring that spouse in and go, okay, how's it going, what's happening, and have them in at different times, so we can manage it and see how it goes. Because, and I tell them that too, so I'm not gonna tell one something different than the other. It's all about unity. It's all about how we honor the Lord in our relationship. It's all about how we work together as a team. So I'm not going to tell one person something different than the other person.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes, if you get some verses, like an introvert and one's an extrovert, sometimes the extrovert will let her talk the introvert, and you'll get a lot of things done. Just happens. So.
Are you implying?
No.
I really think that, me, like Chris came from a really good family. I mean, yeah, there was things and, he grew up but he came from a healthy family. I did not, and I came from generational trauma. And so trying to, work at a marriage when I was always so used to one side, and then here's Chris, this healthy human being, like that was chaos. I know, don't ever tell him I said this, but like a lot of it was me,
Directly. Sure. Sure. They have no idea about that. All right.
But a lot of it was me, and I had to take accountability because I did not realize that my actions and things that I was doing was the issue. Because
right, and that's where and when the couple comes in, we can look that we can assess both. But here's what you're saying and thinking. If what you're saying, you're thinking, I see where we're missing. So we can kind of realign. Say, okay, here's the things we do that would help that situation, which admirably you did, and I'm impressed. You've done well.
Thank you. Yeah, Stephen has. I mean, like every time I was fired from a job, I would tell Stephen.
Jessica lost another. Here we go. Okay, cool.
Lost a job. Like I don't like people telling me what to do, and I like having control over things, and I don't like being micromanaged. And there we go.
Well, there we have it.
Do you know anything about that, Stephen?
A little bit. And
Stephen and I just learned that we are a little bit similar in that department.
Oh.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for all that. I definitely want to stay on track because I know I can get distracted, obviously. So I'm going to ask. So this is the segment called Chattin' GPT, and just like Chat GPT, and I'm going to ask Chat GPT a question. I'm going to read the answer, and then I want you to talk about it. Like, I want you to answer it. All right. So the question is, let me pull up Chat GPT. How to communicate with your spouse. What, is that funny?
No.
Why are you laughing?
I'm happy guy.
All right, so when I asked ChatGPT how to communicate with your spouse, it says, make time for meaningful conversations, listen actively, be honest but kind. I can be honest and kind. Whoop, you didn't respond to that. Practice patience and empathy. What's empathy? Oh, no.
Yeah. You're right. Yes.
Something that I struggle with.
Something that you struggle with.
Okay, so like these are head on, but talk to me, like, how would you answer that in counseling? Like, how to communicate with your spouse? Like, how would you, a human as opposed to AI, how would you answer that question?
Well, I would answer it very similarly because that is correct. Those are the forms of communication. Okay, nice. You're polite. You make eye contact. You make time for them. It's like, yeah, and you're not distracted. Like, okay, I'm going to talk to you while I'm sitting on my phone. Oh, yeah, it's a great day. Or, oh, yeah, we did that. Okay, it's like, no, we put away distractions and we make the person that we're talking to important at the moment. And the empathy part is, it's like, okay, I know what I got going on. What do you got going on? Okay, what are your interests and what would you like to do this weekend, or what TV show do you want to watch tonight? As opposed to, it's always my agenda. So empathy is, hey, what are you doing? What's happening with you? But there's the same thing. You have to be patient, take time, okay, be an active listener. Those are all good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. The other question is, how can I balance personal growth with outside demands. Are you trying to figure out how to answer this?
Yeah. See what they say.
So to clarify this question, how can I balance healthy personal growth, being a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, a boss? I hate that term, boss. And all the coworker. Excuse me. So how can I balance all of that in a healthy scenario so that I'm healthy all around? So ChatGPT says, clarify your priorities, set boundaries. I have no idea what boundaries.
Yeah.
How many years have we talked about that? Should we not have said that? Okay. Make time for personal growth. Combine personal growth with outside demand. I don't even know what that means. Delegate and ask for help. Well, I just hired my sales manager.
Okay.
Should I hire a maid for our house?
No.
No. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So what's your answer to all that?
And that's a big one, okay?
That is-
However, that affects everybody. It's like, how do I balance it with not doing anything, not pursuing any interest in life, and just maintaining, versus I've got all relationships and everything to the side of I got to go and I got to go and I got to do. Okay? So, again, the secret, you said balance. The secret is to balance it, but how do we do that?
Yeah.
And I think the secret there is, whatever you're doing, once we figure what the balance is, once we figure what all the components are that we're doing, like I'm a wife and I'm a mom and I'm an entrepreneur or whatever, it's like, okay, but when I'm doing those things, I need to do those to the best of my ability, all in at that time. So I'm not trying to do this while I'm trying to parent my kid, and I'm not trying to do this while I'm talking to my husband. It's like, I got to be all in with what I'm doing. But I have to know, I have to take time for me, okay, to, again, when my batteries recharge, or take time for me. I've got to be healthy. I've got to make sure that I'm eating right, and getting some exercise, doing things that make me healthy, so I can be a better, productive husband, wife, employee, employer, whatever.
Yeah, I think we talked about. We had a counseling session where it was me and the kids, our 3 children. We have a 15, almost 16-year-old. We have an almost 14-year-old and an almost 12-year-old. And, they were like, we need mom's attention. And it was hard because, I'm trying to, in the beginning, like I'm trying to do this business, but, like my kids also need my attention. So how do I individually give them attention? And that's what you suggested. You were like, when you're with them, you have to be with them. Like, you can't be on your phone. You can't be distracted. Why are you laughing? Sounds interesting, like something that we should discuss.
Probably.
But yeah, so, I think, so what is your advice to somebody who, has that, like, is a business person, or they have a good corporate job, have children, have a family, responsibilities? Like, what's your best advice for that?
Ask ChatGPT. No, but prioritize, okay? But I always priority my family, my job, my health, okay? And again, but that's the balance. They're all important. They're all part of that little balance wheel. Okay? Everything is equally important. I just have to figure out when I can do this and that and this. Okay, I have to go to work. Well, I'm at the job. Okay, well, that's what I'm at the job. But also have to schedule and make sure this is evening with the family. This is family night. This is a personal night. This is we're taking a vacation. You have to balance all those things. They're all equally important. It's just when they're there, you say, this is what I have to do, and you have to make time, because job will consume you, especially entrepreneurial things. Okay, because there's always something to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't end and punch out and you box them.
Yeah.
Right? But that's where self-awareness, self-discipline come in. We go, okay, how can I be a better entrepreneur, influencer, whatever it is? For sometimes I got to pull back and go, okay, admit, I could do that, but that's for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Currently, I have to do this with this. this.
Yeah, I think that was a huge lesson for me, just because I have teenagers and they're so needy, not in a bad way, but they just really thrive on the mom's attention at Apple.
They acquire attention and affection.
Yes. And so, teenagers as a whole, we should have another time on the show to talk just about teenagers, because I'm struggling out here. I got you. So that was chatting it up with Steven on, just like a lot of life instances. So you have something coming up. You have an exciting announcement you want to talk about?
I could for a moment. Yes.
All right. Why don't we talk about that for a little bit?
Okay. As a licensed professional counselor, a licensed marriage and family therapist,
And you're with
all that sort of thing.
You're with Total Life right now.
Total Life.
In Roanoke. Do you offer online telehealth?
Yes.
Okay. And do you offer in person?
Yeah, absolutely.
And where can people go to see you in Roanoke?
At the office.
Is there a West Side?
Yeah, the Total Life. Yes, the Total Life Counseling. Yes.
Or you can do Google Total Life
You go with Total Life Counseling
in Roanoke,
Virginia.
Now,
Thank you for the plug.
Yeah. So can somebody so they can just sign up online to see you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they will.
And they take insurance?
They will sign up. Yes.
Okay.
They have insurance or self-paid.
Okay. Cool. So yeah.
That's because the first thing you asked.
Okay. I'm distracted. Like that's what this podcast is all about.
All about it. Okay. Yes. What is going on? The life coaching. Okay. We'll take a little venture into life coaching. Okay. With me personally, and a lot of folks get into that now. That there's a delineation between psychotherapy and counseling and life coaching. They're separate things, similar but separate. Okay. And so I am endeavoring. My special life coach is something like a life coach to help me organize, do this, clean the closets, or whatever they do, which is fine. But my specialization, I want you to kind of do, I want to specialize in marriage, parenting, and personal growth.
Okay.
Because, one, insurance does not cover marriage, parenting, or personal growth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, you can't bill that. Doesn't happen now. So that's one reason, and also. As a licensed therapist in Virginia, you are constrained by the boundaries of Virginia. Mm-hmm. Okay, now they're looking to try to do some things to change that, so you can be, because I'm not licensed anywhere else. I'm on
just in Virginia,
so that's on my license is good. Okay, so the thing is, I can reach out to other places, other things. When people on vacation, take a trip. Okay, if they need to chat, they can chat. We can talk. Okay, but the other reason is because 75 to 80% of what I do, okay, is not clinical, real bad problems, okay? Yeah, well, probably 90% of what I do are adjustments. I've seen this child, they're ready to go to college. I'm in high school, they're struggling, they're all nervous. We help them out. Let's walk through the college thing. What do you do? What are you looking at? Okay, if it's a relationship, it's a communication we've talked about. There's always some communication things, just things they're not clinical. You think they're wrong with people. Okay, it's just generally what I do is I like coaching anyway. Encouraging, self-worth, communicate, set boundaries. Those are all things that are in the coaching realm. So I think I want to try to venture out in that little area to see what happens.
Yeah, I think obviously I still have some work to do. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And I think as far as the coaching, I think you've done wonders. If you take somebody like me,
that's true.
Sometimes our sessions were heated. Well, I was just honest. I was just being honest, and but no, I think that's awesome. I think that's going to be launching soon in the near future. If you definitely not hopefully it will. Seriously, are you a little nervous, Steven? Are you scared? Should I be mentored? Should I give you some words of wisdom?
Probably not.
Okay.
Nope.
I think if God brings it to you, then you should just go with it. And I think you're going to thrive.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Because I'm excited for you. And I advertise for you a lot. I do on social media. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, so some chatting challenges. Yeah, so anyway, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. I think you're going to do great. For right now, if you guys need counseling services, you can reach him at Total Life. You can just do a Google search for Total Life Counseling in Vernon, Virginia. Or if you want to connect with him through, life coaching, ask questions or whatever, you can always reach out to me, on social media. I have the Chattin Out Loud at justchattin.com, and then I'll contact you, put you in contact with Steven, and then we can go there from there. So that's very exciting. But I do have a question about your life coaching stuff. So, what are some challenges maintaining mental health in an on-demand society?
One more time.
Okay, so what are some challenges maintaining a positive mental health in an on-demand society? I think we're growing into an on-demand society. Like, I need it now. Like, having access to it now. Like me, I'm like, oh my gosh.
We gotta do it now.
Yeah.
Okay, which is the opposite of patience.
That I lack.
That we all do. Okay, we want it now. Okay, and I think technology has made it so easy to say, well, why can't I have it now? And then we get frustrated when we don't get it now, and then we look for somebody to blame. And so that, again, that's a source of conflict in many relationships. And another thing too, that we're not, I'm back to the marriage thing, and we talk about is, okay, some people aren't patient enough to work their goals together, and they don't set goals together. Hence, marriage. Well, okay, the marriage and the parenting thing, say, we have to have a common goal. We have to talk together. What direction are we headed? What are we going to do? What are we willing to sacrifice to get there? Because we can't all have what we want.
Yeah.
Now.
So we were supposed to set goals.
Which what? So, oh yeah, say what? You must skip that.
Chris and I were supposed to set goals. Okay, I think we were just trying to keep our heads above water.
Well, it's okay. Well, sometimes that's a goal. It's goals or dreams. It's like, what kind of family? Well, let's go back to that. That's the thing too. I want to show I do in counseling and in coaching, whatever. Okay, so what kind of atmosphere do you want to create in your home? What do you want your kids to remember? What do you want to do? That's the goals, the dreams. It's like, what do you want to? What atmosphere do you want to create in your home?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's great advice. And then provide some practical advice for listeners who are facing similar struggles and how you plan to tackle these in your life coaching services. Maybe like people like me who struggle with their mental health.
Okay.
Or struggle in general. I know that's a broad statement.
Okay.
Yeah. You got this.
I think that's where you have to, an evaluation would be good, okay? But that means you have to go to a counselor or a psychiatrist to get that evaluation. You may, okay? But generally, again, some are healthy families, not healthy families. But that's why in maintaining what you do to be healthy, your circle, your positive posse that you're around, okay? You can assess those people that you go to church with or your family or coworker, again, if they're healthy. Okay, because there's a lot of folks that they have unhealthy, negative people that give them unhealthy and negative advice. Okay?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have positive ones, and that's who you hang around. You go, okay, what are you seeing? Maybe I should go talk to somebody about this. Or then you go and you just get the evaluation of here's what I'm struggling with. And so if someone came to me like that, I would say, oh, goodness gracious, yeah, that's major compression, and we need to talk to the doctor or this and that, try some other things. Or usually it's just say, okay, I got you a little down about this. Well, let's try to better. I'll study how we communicate better, how we deal with our kids better, how we do some consequences and and positive parenting and that sort of thing. So it just kind of depends.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's not part of the lecture.
No, that was great. So just one more thing that I want to talk about, and I think I didn't finish this in the beginning, was this podcast is really dedicated to my brother, who I recently lost back in September. And I think something that was just so fruitful in my life was I had access to you, and that next morning I think I got a hold of you guys and they put me through to you. And I think I was a wreck and I was upset, and losing somebody unexpectedly is a lot mentally and physically and emotionally. And I really what advice do you have for people who endure that, especially with the numbers that are growing more and more as we go on? Losing somebody.
Okay, you said what is it? The first thing you do, the ongoing thing?
Yeah, so what advice do you have, for somebody who is losing somebody, in my shoes, I lost my brother due to suicide. And so, obviously suicide, and in my journey, my husband and I, we both had those thoughts. And I said those to you and in counseling. And so we went through our own thing. And so I think just recognizing that we did need that counseling, really helped us.
Right.
So talk about that part and then the other.
If you ever anybody hasn't thought about self-harm or doing harm to themselves, it's okay, you go to the hospital immediately. Okay, you go and you get evaluated, and they'll say this is something we need to talk about, or they'll go, all right, man, not so much. But in other words, you got to get help somewhere. Okay, if you have to start at the hospital, if you can't get, that's the end all be all.
Yeah.
Well, they're open all the time. Okay, or you go, what, I'd rather run these thoughts by my counselor, life coach, or my pastor, or somebody that they need to have somebody in their network, somebody that they're close to. Okay, again, neighbor, coworker, church member, family member. It's I'm struggling here, and the thing is to have resources. Okay, in the community where I can go. These folks are pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so but as if you have those thoughts, you need to take care of that.
Not to interrupt you. This is a distracting. This is a distracting podcast. I did not recognize how much Chris loved me until the night that I put something to my head in a car. And he called the police because he did not know what else to do. And that was one of the scariest, but I look at it now, and that was the most loving thing that somebody has ever done for me, was call the police. They took
To keep you safe.
to keep me safe
Because you are valuable.
because I am valuable and I'm worthy and I'm a princess.
I wouldn't go that far. Okay, but you are valuable.
But I am, yes, and I'm worthy.
You are.
And
You are.
and people don't realize that until it's too late.
Correct. That's why folks are on that downward slide, and that's why it's important to be connected. We have people that we talk to, that we chat with, that are close to us. You have people that like us and build us up, not that challenge us and tear us down.
Yeah.
Back to the boundaries and unhealthy family members. Sometimes there's folks, okay, they want to control us, and they don't want what's best for us. They want what's best for me. Yeah. Okay? And if I can control and manipulate, that's what I'll do. So that's why it's important to have an evaluation or assessment of okay, who's healthy, what's productive, what's right, what's good, what's God honoring. That's what I got there.
Yeah, that was a scary night. And they didn't take me to a pretty hospital. And
Right. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
do you think now I should go back to?
No.
Is that what you're what?
No, I'm just saying that's never fun, but it kept you safe. And nobody wants to do that. It's it. Okay. Fine. So again, we back up before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
When you start to recognize saying, like you said earlier, what do you go to counseling? It's okay. When those thoughts when they're not positive and good enough here, they start to get a little negative, start taking a downward turn. It's all right. Yeah. I need to talk to somebody so it doesn't get there, so we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But that is a resource, end all be all there. It is great. We want to talk about it before it gets there.
Yeah. And so, and to me, that was my husband showing me the best love. And that was, growing up, I never felt that true love from a parent. And so, going into the marriage, I love my husband, but that was the beginning, truly beginning of our marriage, when I understood that, oh my gosh, he loved me so much to do this for me. and to save me. And so, and then we increased our counseling visits, and, we started the process, and we just kept on going. And so, now that I'm on the flip side, how do we, like with me losing my brother, like for me, I feel like I have overcome, and I'm using his death as a positive, that I'm able to make an impact on the world, or community, or my family, or whoever. So what kind of advice can you give to people, or our listeners, who might experience something like that, whether it's now or in the future, who lose a loved one?
Well, everybody will lose a loved one. Okay, so that
Maybe in my case.
yeah, that's going to happen, and so there's grieving is as a whole different thing as well. Okay, but everybody goes through the grieving process differently, and that's why. And sometimes in families it's hard because you think you need to grieve this loss the same way I'm grieving it, but everybody does it different, and it's a process, so it takes time, and we're not all at the same time. Okay, so back to being patient with those and allowing them to grieve the way they want to grieve is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, but then we decide, okay, what am I want to do? But I have to take time to understand. Let me process this. I don't have to take action now. I just have to be who I am. Okay, I need to grieve this loss. I need to process that and say, okay, eventually now I'll get back to do what I need to be doing. Okay, because you don't want to try to rush through the grieving process. Okay, because it'll take time to properly grieve. And so again, to pop with people, sometimes we will journal, we'll write letters, or we'll just cry, or whatever. We'll do whatever it takes. It's different. But to take that self-care, because it's a trauma, we need to recover.
Yeah. I agree. That was some really good advice. And, I hate that it happened to our family. But I'm so grateful to see like the journey God is taking me on. And like, I just never imagined in my entire life I'd be doing this, or having a podcast with my counselor outside of counseling.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
But I'm good at boundaries.
Yep.
Okay, so it is time for us to close, and so I just have a couple of, I definitely want to thank Stephen for your guidance and support and sharing like what you do and, just some ways on how you do things through, counseling. And I definitely want to thank Angel Studios. Go watch the movie Brave the Dark. And definitely want to thank Mullins Media Co. for helping bring this vision to life. And a shout out to Chris, Kaylee, Chelsea, and Walker. Hi, guys. I hope you're doing your tours. Okay. Well, I am going to go celebrate with my family for my birthday today. So thank you, Stephen, for joining me on my 40th birthday. I feel honored.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Yes. Hey, by your privilege. Thank you very much. Good for you. You've done very well.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that's recorded so I can have that forever.
Oh, shit.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We had so much fun on the very first podcast of Chattin Out Loud, Confidently Distracted Me. I am just chatting, and I'm out.